It's time for the Covrprice Top 10. This time we're going back 4 years. All right, guys, we're going to go back 4 years from today, going way back to 2020. Before we do, I want to remind everyone, if you didn't know, only you guys on Instagram would know this. Friday night, tonight, the day this video is released, tonight on Whatnot, Defective Collective, back together. It is me, Matty Forge, Erod, and Davis Ryder all selling together on my Whatnot channel. Make sure you give me a follow over there, VERYGARY_comics. Let's get right into this list. This list comes to us from our friends over at Covrprice. We take a look at their movers and shakers list from 4 years ago. We talk about the values. What did those books do then? How are they doing today? Let's get into it and start with number 10. This is The Incredible Hulk 181. 4 years ago, we were just a few weeks away from the world shutting down due to COVID, then known as the coronavirus. Yet in the last week of February, it was business as usual in the comic aftermarket, thanks to rumors of Henry Cavill taking on the role of Wolverine. His first appearance hit a spike in both value and volume, trending at $2,800 for a near mint raw, $11,800 for a CGC 9.6. 4 years later, ironically, we're amid more Cavill MCU rumors. However, none are Wolverine-focused. Front-running rumors are Cyclops, Captain Britain, or Doctor Doom. While Wolvie's casting rumors have also had plenty of speculation over the years, none seem to be prevalent right now, as the anticipation of seeing Hugh Jackman in the classic blue and yellow costume is pulling all that attention away. Still, content or no content, Wolverine is the world's favorite mutant and Marvel A-lister. His first or second appearance, however you feel, has significantly grown in value to a boost of $5,800 for a near mint raw, $17,600 for a CGC 9.6. Clearly, Wolverine is one of the best long-term investments you can make. The man doesn't miss. Wolverine consistently goes up. This is also a real key book. So a lot of this list is FOMO kind of stuff, but that's a real key. Speaking of Wolverine, let's get to number 9. This is Wolverine number 1 from 1982. This is the limited series now. 4 years ago, with the Henry Cavill rumors, Wolverine books were on fire, which extended to his first solo series. It hit high sales of $53 raw, $315 for CGC 9.8. 4 years later, market values have risen steadily, settling at the current $129 for a near mint raw, $650 in a 9.8. This is a big boost. However, the current values are pretty good, as 9.8s fluctuated between $850 to $1,000 in both 2021 and 2022. While it shouldn't see any major spikes in the immediate future, the past 4 years have proved this is also a solid investment key that you should let sit in your collection for another 5 to 10 years. This, again, is a real key issue. It's Wolverine's first solo series. Frank Miller, classic cover, great cover. And this is just pre-pandemic stuff. Remember, the pandemic is what sent everything out of control. You're looking at the books pre-pandemic on this list. Now, we're going to get to some FOMO stuff in a minute here. But keep in mind, I know I've talked about this a lot, that as much as people are concerned that the market's down, which it is from 2020, 2021, 2022, it's not, if COVID never happens, these numbers are just gradually increasing like they're supposed to. We had a huge spike through COVID and then a huge drop, but that drop is still above those 2019, 2020 numbers. Let's get to number 8. This is bang number 1. This is the FOMO kind of stuff here. 4 years ago, it was announced that this title was already in development at Netflix with Idris Elba set to star. It hit a high of $15 raw, $55 for a 9.8. In the past 4 years, we did receive an update in 2022, and just a few days ago, Deadline announced that Netflix extended Dark Horse's overall deal. Both updates specifically mention this project being still in active development, with Elba to star and directed by David Leitch. I might be saying that wrong. While this is a bust today at a near mint fair market value of $9 and $20 for a 9.8, this news hasn't fully reached the comic community and will most likely see small increases in the next few weeks, or now if watching this a few weeks later, here on my channel. I'm not sure what to think about this. Netflix does pretty good job, so we'll see. We'll see if this thing has legs. Let's get to number 7. This is Venom number 23, the Young variant. This popular new release variant of Scotty Young drawing Stegman and Cates moved briskly 4 years ago at a fair market value of $23 for a raw copy. 4 years later, it still has mostly retained that heat while dropping a bit in value at $15 near mint, 40 in a CGC 9.8. So this is like a hot variant that kind of dipped a little bit. Guys, I don't think we're going to see crazy numbers on this list fluctuate because, again, this is pre-pandemic. We're going back 4 years right before COVID really struck. Let's get to number 6. This is Hulk number 1. 4 years ago, there was a rumor that Red Hulk would appear in an also rumored Thunderbolts Disney Plus show. This news helped it hit $45 for a near mint raw at high sales of $225 for CGC 9.8. 4 years later, while Thunderbolts were confirmed and even changed to a feature film, Red Hulk has been the worst kept secret as so much has leaked, confirming Harrison Ford's appearance as Thunderbolt Ross and will transform into the Red Hulk. Despite those leaks, there has been no formal confirmation. Despite hitting a high of $600 in a 9.8 of December of 2021, values have slightly increased in the past 4 years to the current market value of $48 for a near mint raw, $234 for a 9.8, a nice boost, but it should go up again once a trailer confirms Red Hulk's presence in the film. Absolutely, once we see Harrison Ford as Red Hulk, don't be surprised if you see this pop just a little bit and then settle out. Let's get to number 5. Again, another key, kind of plateauing here. This is Amazing Spider-Man 361. Early pictures from the Venom 2 set 4 years ago featured Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. These leaks lit a tiny fire under Carnage's first appearance. After this surge, and near mint raw copy sold for $100, graded 9.8 sold for $370. Now, this book had quite a run for about a year, hitting a high of $1,600 in a 9.8 in May of 2021. 4 years after our coverage, we now know that Carnage was eaten by Venom at the end of Venom 2. However, there has been plenty of rumors of his reappearance in the upcoming third film. Despite those rumors, recent near mint raw copies sold fair market value of $86 and 9.8 selling for $349. While these aren't significant busts, it does seem that the fire those early set photos lit has died off, and that Venom 3 rumors aren't raining the same flame for this issue of symbiotic lore. Ultimately, values settled back down to pre-Venom number 1 rumors. For some perspective, before Venom was announced at Sony back in 2016, not 2016, we're going back a while now, 8 years, 9.8 sold for a fair market value of $180. So the content did ultimately help double its value. It could also simply be natural increases due to Carnage's high popularity among Spider-Man fans. Carnage is awesome. The movie was not. Let's get to number 4. This is Bang number 1. This is the Ashcan variant. As noted above, this new release in 2020 was on fire upon release due to the development deal already in the works at Netflix. At the time, near mint raw copies hit a high of $46 and graded 9.8 sold for $199. Now, 4 years later, near mint raw copies sell for $16 and the most recent graded 9.8 sold for $64. Needless to say, from an investment perspective, both raw and graded copies were busts for this issue. However, as mentioned, the recent reconfirmation of Bang, still in active development with Idris Elba, should give this book some renewed attention. However, can 9.8s hit $199 again? I doubt it. Let's go to a fun one here at number 3. This is Doc Savage number 1. Guys, this is a real book here. From 1972, 4 years ago, Sony announced that Doc Savage would be in development as a TV show. At the time, fans turned to this Marvel series of the original Gold Key series. Since the announcement in 2020, there has been no news, good or bad, regarding the series. An original script was developed in 2013 as a film adaptation, and Dwayne Johnson was signed in 2016 as the Man of Bronze himself. 4 years ago, near mint raw copies sold for $17 and graded 9.8 sold for $169. 4 years later, the hype hasn't died. Near mint raw copies are selling for $30, and the most recent 9.8 sold for $405. Both raw and graded copies have become booms over the past 4 years. Keep an eye out for additional Sony Doc Savage news, as it could continue to shake the market even more half a decade later. Guys, a real book. This is a great list. Not only are we pre-COVID, technically we're like right on the cusp, right? Pre-COVID numbers, you're looking at real keys and growth on a lot of these keys or just plateau. Really, really good list. Let's get to, where are we? Number 2. Let's get to number 2. Before we do, I want to remind everyone in the description down below, there is a discount code for a Covrprice. If you want to use it, use it. I don't get anything for that. Please, I get nothing for it. It's strictly from Covrprice to you. Check it out. It is a great platform. Now let's get to number 2. This is Batman number 89, the Francisco Mattina variant. Flashing back to 2020, we reflect on the storm that was Punchline, DC's new villain and potential replacement supplement to Harley Quinn. Her first cameo appearance set the market on fire. This issue battled Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, for the title of first appearance and raced each other in aftermarket value, often overtaking each other. Thanks to all the attention, Matina's variant was a big hit and had a high sale of $30 raw, $141 for a CGC 9.8. 4 years later, this is a fun opportunity to examine FOMO and exceptional market heat over a brand new character. With a little hindsight, we can take a closer look at how it all shook out. Today, Near Mint sells for $40, a boost over the $30 initial value in 2020. However, 9.8 values have fallen significantly to a fair market value of $60 in terms of first appearances. This issue gets the claim of the first cameo, while Hell Arisen took the first full appearance. Yet even Hell Arisen, once the pricier of the two, has fallen to $72 and a 9.8. Yet can also still command top dollar for Near Mint Raws at $50. Punchline's still around, most recently appearing in Night Terror number 6. She's clearly not going anywhere anytime soon since it's been 4 years and she's still around. A nice DCU appearance would surely help bring her back to FOMO values. But for now, while a bust graded across the board, she's pretty steady and a solid raw book. Grab those 9.8s while they're still cheap if you believe in her long-term potential. If we were DC, we'd roll her into the Gotham City Sirens cabal. That's number 2. We talked Batman 89. That was the variant. Let's get to our number 1. This is Batman 89. 4 years ago, this was the book to own. FOMO was on fire over Punchline's first cameo and sold a ton of copies in the aftermarket, trending at $35 raw and $232 and a 9.8. She dominated the top 10 for months and even saw big spikes in value during COVID. 4 years later, raw values have held right on the dot at $35. However, 9.8s have fallen to a bust of $60. Keep in mind, in 2020, folks were rushing to get their copies graded and were listing them as quickly as they came in. So the market demand was high and the supply was low. Over the past several years, collectors' copies of 9.8s have flooded sites like eBay, affecting the overall market value as demand has dropped. $60 for 9.8 is a fantastic deal. In some cases, for the right auction, it can get even lower. As mentioned, if you believe in the character long-term, 9.8 copies offer high investment potential. This is a book to keep an eye on for the next several years. This is actually a really good $60 investment. I always think that first appearances, even moderns, about $100 for a 9.8 seems about fair. I can see Punchline. If Punchline appears in the DCU, which would be years from now, I could see this book more than doubling in value. I really, really can. Now, I know there's a lot of copies out there. The Hell Arisen book as well. That also went through multiple printings. But I don't know. Something about this character, Punchline, between Poison Ivy, of course, Harley Quinn, Punchline. I don't know. I just think there's something there for the big screen sometime down the line. Let's let James Gunn do his thing. So that's it for our top 10 today. Make sure you check out coverprice.com, their movers and shakers list. Come back next time. What are we doing next time? Are we doing 4 years later? I don't know. We'll see. Come back next week, and we're going to have another top 10. I'll look back here for you. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep it comics.